Konnichiwa, senpai desu. Before I start the video, I have a new video about legendary anime classics that were aired in spring 2010 on my Anime Senpai channel. Make sure to check it out. So it's been 3 whole years since I made my first anime face tutorial. Since then, I've been researching various techniques and exposing myself to a variety of sources to find the best way to draw an anime face. Safe to say, my quest has come to fruition, as now I'm back with a brand new and upgraded version of the tutorial, introducing how to draw anime face like a pro.
Oh, I know how to draw. First, start by drawing a sphere or a circle to represent the head. Then, draw the 2 guidelines, one horizontal, one vertical. After that, draw the jaw, the chin, and the ears. Next, draw the eyes, nose, and mouth. Lastly, draw the hair. GG easy.
Well, yes and no.
But senpai, you taught us to draw this way.
Yeah, I know. The sphere method is indeed an easy way to draw the face, especially for beginners. Basically, you use a sphere as the base shape to establish the head structure. Then, you add the facial features and details on the sphere accordingly. This is a very straightforward and easy way of drawing the face. However, there are downsides to this method. It doesn't really show the perspective and proportions of the face accurately, especially when you are trying to draw a more complex facial structure and expression. So if you want to draw a better face, you need to learn the pro way, not just the easiest way. Let me show you how. First up, let's talk about shapes and geometries. Mastering basic shapes and geometries is essential in drawing because they serve as the foundation for creating more complex forms and structures.
What's so hard about drawing balls and Minecraft blocks? I've mastered it already. Let's move to the next step.
My fellow Kohais, are you certain that you have drawn those cubes correctly? Let me guess, this is probably how you draw cubes. You first draw a square as the front plane and another square as the back plane. Then, you connect the ends of these lines to form the top and bottom faces of the cube. Am I right? Well, that's pretty standard, I would say. Or, you can choose the unorthodox way like what I usually do, which is something like this. This kind of cube is called an isometric cube, which is a type of 3-dimensional drawing that represents objects in a way where all 3 axes are equally spaced. This creates a uniform scale for all dimensions, giving the illusion of depth without any distortion or foreshortening. This is the reason why they are not ideal for creating realistic drawings due to the absence of perspective. In other words, isometric cubes violate the natural way we perceive depth and distance. In real life, objects become smaller as they get further away from the viewer, and this natural perspective distortion is essential for creating a sense of depth and realism in a drawing. Isometric cubes do not account for this perspective distortion, which can make drawings look somewhat fake and flat. So in order to draw it the pro way, you need to start incorporating perspective into your cube's drawing. I know it may seem easy to draw a cube with an accurate perspective, but trust me, it's not as simple as you think. Alright, let's start with drawing a cube. Don't worry too much about getting it perfect. Just draw it freely, because we'll fix the perspective later. Now, let's assume we're looking at the cube from this edge right here. Since this edge is the focus point, the left and right sides will vanish into a point called the vanishing point. There's also a vanishing point at the bottom. This is pretty much all you need to know about 3-point perspective. Super simple. Alright, now we can draw 2 perspective lines, one to the left and another to the right. As for the third vanishing point, it's not really crucial unless we were drawing something like a building. But for anatomy purposes, these 2 vanishing points on the horizontal lines are more than enough. With these 2 vanishing points acting as anchors, you can check if the rest of the lines are in the correct perspective. So here we can see that this line is a little off, this one as well. And that is why we need these guidelines because they're super helpful. So, how is perspective related to becoming a pro at drawing faces? Well, just look at how accurate it is to draw the head using the box method. Unlike a sphere, a cube offers more dimension and makes it easier for us to visualize the head in 3D. In summary, the box method provides a more solid structure with defined edges and planes, making it easier to understand and maintain perspective. The sphere method, on the other hand, can be quite challenging due to its curved surface, which makes it harder to draw an accurate perspective. So give the box method a try and see if your face looks any better. Now that we've mastered the art of the cube, it's time to enter the mysterious world of skull structures. No, I'm not talking about the skulls of our Neanderthal ancestors. I'm talking about the skulls of our 2D waifus. First thing first, let me introduce you to the frontal bone. This is the bone that forms our forehead, and it plays a crucial role in defining the overall shape of our face. Yes, this is the part where you draw a big frontal bone if your character has macrocephaly or brain cancer. Next up, we have the lower jawbone, aka the mandible. This is the only movable bone in the skull, and it's responsible for the movement of our mouth when we are talking or choking on a banana. Moving on to the cheekbones, aka the zygomatic bones, which form the contours of our face. Then, we have the nose bone. This part of the skull is responsible for the structure of the nose. Last but not least, we have the upper jawbone, aka the maxilla. This bone plays a significant role in determining the shape and size of the mouth, as well as the position of the teeth. Apart from that, these parts of the skull are very important as well. They are the T-bone, eye sockets, and cheekbones. Let's start with the T-bone, which is the protruded area where the frontal bone meets the two parietal bones in the skull. What sits underneath it are the eye sockets, which are located at these sunken hollow cavities in the skull. Different shape and depth of the eye sockets will affect the shadow of the eyes. Finally, let's discuss the cheekbones. They help us understand where to position the eyes and how the face looks under different lighting conditions. Alright, now it's time to put our understanding of the facial bone structure into drawing. Our subject? Someone who's on the day before No Nut November. For this drawing, we want the character to look tired and weary, which is why we should emphasize on the eye sockets and the cheekbones in order to create a sunken appearance. These subtle cues can make a significant difference in conveying the character's emotions and overall state. In terms of shading and depth, watch how I add the shadows beneath the eyes. Remember, the eyes are seated in the sunken hollow cavities. Hence, they should always appear dark unless there's a frontal light that shines on the face. Also, pay attention to the T-bone and the cheekbones. By adding some highlights at the upper jaw, cheekbones, and T-bone, we can make them look more natural and consistent with the rest of the facial structure. This method might seem novel or strange to you, but I promise you it's really effective. Basically, you just draw the entire face into multiple small polygons. The forehead and the cheekbones can be represented by a flat plane, while the sides of the face form a triangular shape. The nose can be simplified into a pyramid as well. Also, the chin and jawline can be represented by a triangle. As for the lips, you can ignore it. So now we have created a simplified geometric representation of the face that's much easier to work with. The next step is to shade it. When there's a light source above your head, the forehead, T-zone, and cheekbones will brighten up. The eye sockets, on the other hand, will be covered in shadow. Now that we have our polygon-based facial structure, we can use it as a foundation for drawing anime faces. As you draw the facial features, you'll notice how the polygon structure helps to give a clearer picture of the angles and planes of the face, allowing you to better visualize the shading and lighting effects on your character. The best part about this technique is its versatility. You can adapt polygon facial structure to suit different character designs, angles, and expressions. Once you've mastered this technique, you'll find your anime face drawings become more accurate, dynamic, and visually appealing. Whether it's studying skull structure or polygon representation, the purpose of learning these aspects is to accurately draw and shade our characters. By having a deeper understanding of the underlying facial structure, we can better portray the form, contours, and three-dimensionality of the face in our drawings, which in turn allows us to create more convincing expressions, lighting, and shadows that bring depth and life to our characters. Remember, practice makes perfect, so keep experimenting with different techniques until you find the one that you are comfortable with. If you have enjoyed this video and you want to take your anime drawing skills even further, you can sign up for my Patreon and gain access to all the Photoshop files I've used in this video. Feel free to support me on Patreon, I really appreciate it. Please drop a like, subscribe to my channel, and follow me on Twitter. DM me if you want a commission from me. Alright, that's all from me. Jana, guys.